Hello, Josephine James. Welcome to V News with me, Danielle Alexandra. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for inviting me onto your show. And might I ask, what does V News stand for?
Thank you for being on my show. It's a pleasure to have you here today. V News stands for Verona News, and I'm here to talk to you about how you got to where you are, who you are, and how you have any relations with our dear Romeo. Where exactly were you born?
I was born in Mantua, a city right out of beautiful Verona.
Yes, Verona is a very beautiful city. And an apothecary, that's just such an interesting occupation. Not many people have that job. How was your childhood?
Well, I guess everyone doesn't have my lifestyle. My childhood was like all the other children. I do chores, I play with the other kids, and I met my lifelong best friend, Millie Roberts.
You're very lucky to have a best friend. When I was younger, I didn't really have a best friend. So, how did you meet Josephine, Millie?
Well, one day I was on the playground with my brother, and he had gone off to play with one of his other friends because she kept nagging him to play. I was left by myself. It had never really bothered me before because I was used to playing all by myself. I had always been afraid of the monkey bars because I wasn't able to grip and swing across because, as you can see, my hands are small.
Wow, you do have really small hands.
Yeah, and so that day I decided that I was going to try to swing across the monkey bars. I'd swung across the first two, no problem. But as I got to the third, I was beginning to get nervous and I was slipping. Jo saw me and she ran over to help me. Because of her, I didn't fall. And ever since, we have been best friends.
Well, aren't you fortunate to have had her there during that day? How would two friends become such good friends off of some silly fall? That's just wonderful.
So, what do you want to do?
Oh no, the slide seems like fun.
Yeah, we should go play on the sled.
Come play with me. I'm gonna bamboozle you with my bamboo.
I think
Come
I'm
on,
gonna play
come
with her
on.
before she bamboozles me anymore.
Come on.
Are you ready?
Ooh.
Thank you, friend.
What's your name? Well, you are incredibly lucky to have a friend like Millie. How's the food at your school? Mine was absolutely terrible when I was your age. Millie, how did you feel about Josephine always being at your house all the time?
Well, I didn't mind Jo staying over all the time. It was no big deal. She was my best friend. She was like a sister to me, and she still is. My parents love her and have always told her that she is welcome to stay over anytime, and they've been through the same thing, so they understand.
That is wonderful. She is so lucky to have a great friend like you. And the nickname Jo is super cute. Where did it come from?
Well, Josephine is super long, so I just decided to call her Jo.
Sounds like something I would say, because I shorten everything.
Romans, you're hanging out with Romans down on the corner. Don't you know that they deal in drugs? You do not. No child of mine is going to be down there at the corner hanging out with Romans. I'm going to throw you out of here if you don't change your ways, young lady.
I wasn't.
Yes, you were. Don't stand there and lie to me. I know better. You know what? Just get out of my house. Go on, go.
My dad kicked me out again. I don't have anywhere to go. Can I please come over?
Wait a second. Let me go check with my mom.
Hey, honey, what's wrong?
Well, Josephine's parents or her dad just kicked her out. Is it okay if she comes and stays?
Sure, honey. Our house is open anytime. You know that.
Okay, I'll go let her know. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, I'm on my way. Hey, Millie.
Thank you so much.
How'd you get into making drugs and poisons? I never really thought I'd be asking that question.
Well, one night I was at home and things started the way they normally do with my parents. And we were arguing and they told me to get out. I kept trying to convince them to let me stay. But they just kept yelling, and the only choice I had was to leave. I had no way really of getting to and from school, and I needed some sort of income because I couldn't live on the streets. I had to have somewhere to live. One day I was walking around, and an apothecary noticed I was less fortunate, and she offered to help me make poisons and drugs, also known as legally medicine.
Hey, how are you?
Alright, I guess.
What's going on?
Don't really have anywhere to go.
Do you need a job? Do you need something to do?
Yeah, sorta.
Have you ever thought about being an apothecary and making drugs and stuff for medicinal uses?
No?
Well, why don't you let me show you how?
Okay.
Well, here's an example. You see these leaves? They're very good for healing. If you ever have an open wound, you can rub them on there, and it helps to keep it not uninfected. And these leaves right here, these flowers, you can just mix them together, and together it'll help you with your flu. And you just keep mushing them together. You'll add a little bit of water, and then you have something that'll help a lot of people, and people will pay a lot of money for it. And you can do that with most plants in the forest. It's really simple and easy. For example, this. Come look at these berries over here. You see these berries? They're very poisonous berries, and most people won't use them. But what people don't know is where they make a good poison, they can also make a very healing they dry blood up, instantly. You just squish them and squeeze them out, and it dries up blood. You just put it on the open wound. So just put it in here, mash it up, and there you go. That's all you have to do. That's all. It's wonderful. Even everyday plants will work. Let me show you. See this? You have an everyday garden. And onions, they are wonderful for sore throats. All you have to do is take a bite out of them, and they just heal the sore throat. It's great. They're great use. So you can grow your own garden and keep your own onions and sell them for so much money. They're very, very wanted. Legally medicine? That's funny. So you were fortunate to find her, weren't you? Are you an apothecary as well, Millie?
No, ma'am, I'm not. I am an accountant. And I must say that Jo over here, she has the best prices in town.
Well, that's nice. How do you know this exactly?
Well, she is my best friend. You know, and when I'm sick, I go to her for my medicine. And I've compared prices with others, and she is the best.
So, let's get down to business. Why did you sell Romeo the poison? Did you know he was gonna kill himself?
Well, I obviously didn't want to sell him the poison. I told him that my will wouldn't let me sell poison to someone trying to kill himself. But he was persistent, and I needed the money. I kept saying no, but he kept begging and begging. He told me everything. He told me of his lost love's life, Juliet Capulet. It was so sorrowful, I couldn't help but give him the poison.
Okay. I'm looking for some poison.
Well, I have some.
May I buy some?
For what?
I got exiled and Juliet died, and I'm miserable and I want to die.
Well, I don't.
Please, I'm just so miserable. Please, I have coins. I have money, lots of money, from the royal families.
I guess.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I'm gonna drink this now.
That's absolutely terrible. How could you aid him in suicide like that? Do you not have a heart? That's murder. Did you know about this, Millie?
Yes, I did know, but I was respecting my best friend by keeping my mouth shut about things. On top of being a good friend, I was trying to get ready for an accountant conference.
Well, I hope you know that you two can be in serious trouble. Josephine, you contributed to the killing of the child of one of our major benefactors. And Millie, you withheld vital information about Romeo's death.
No, that's not what we were trying to do. I just needed the money. You don't know what it's like to be so poor.
I was just being a good friend, And what would you have done if it was your best friend?
It's not my job to decide what happens to you two. We'll have to leave that up to the prince. Thank you for being here on V News with myself, Danielle Alexandra.